Go ahead.
Okay. Call to order this meeting of the Burlington Traffic Commission. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the September 16th, 2021 Burlington Traffic Commission meeting. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, this meeting is being held via Zoom. Please note this meeting is being recorded. If anyone is having technical or connection difficulties, please contact Conrad Almedo at 336-214-4515 for support. For tonight's public comments, to address the commission, please indicate that you wish to do so by using the raise hand feature in Zoom, or if by phone, press *9 and our meeting host will notify me that you wish to speak. As a preliminary matter, I am Vice Chairman Scott Harinko. I would like to confirm that all commission members and staff members anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members present, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Michael Howard.
Here.
Valencia Reed. V, are you able to hear me? Yeah, it appears that you are on mute. Okay, I will come back to V in just a minute. V, if there's anything that you need to do on your end, if you can hear me, it looks like you are on mute, so please go ahead. Nathan Page is not present. James Perry.
Here.
Suzanne Hewitt.
Here.
And Reed Sarton.
Here.
Staff participants, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Director of Planning and Transportation, Mike Nunn. We assume not present.
That's correct.
Transportation Engineering and Operations Manager, Brian Tennant.
Here.
David Turner of the Burlington Police Department.
He's not, but Scott's here.
Scott Elliott of the Burlington Police Department.
There you go.
There you go. Travis Handy of the Burlington Fire Department, excuse me. It does not appear that Travis is present. Okay. All right, the first order of business on the agenda this evening is the approval of the minutes from the June 17th, 2021 meeting. The chair will entertain a motion to approve or deny the minutes as distributed. Do I have a motion to approve or deny the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
A second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Approved unanimously. The second order of business this evening is to nominate and elect a chairman, vice chair, and secretary. So at this time, I'll open the floor to the commission for nominations for chairman, vice chairman, and secretary, either as a slate of officers or we can do individually. So first, either open for a slate or for the nomination of chair for 2021 session of Traffic Commission. Do I have any nominations for chairman?
Scott, I'll nominate you for chair.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. I appreciate that. A nomination for Scott Harinko as chair. Are there any further nominations for chair? Okay, hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion to elect Scott Harinko as chair for the 2021-22 session of Traffic Commission, of the Burlington Traffic Commission. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
A motion to elect. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. I hear no opposition. So Chairman for the 2021-2022 session of the Burlington Traffic Commission is Scott Harinko, which is myself. Thank you very much for the confidence in the position. Second is the position of Vice Chair. Are there any nominations from the floor for the position of Vice Chair of the Burlington Traffic Commission? I don't hear any nominations. I will go ahead and make a nomination, Mr. Perry, since you have served. Would you, are you willing to entertain the position of Vice Chair for the 21-22 session of Traffic Commission?
Yes, I will accept that nomination.
Okay. Are there other nominations for Vice Chair? Okay, hearing no nominations, the chair would entertain a motion to elect James Perry as the Vice Chair of the Burlington Traffic Commission for the 2021-22 session. Do I have a motion?
I saw a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Hewitt, thank you very much. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. And Mr. Perry, you are elected the chairman, vice chair of the Burlington Traffic Commission for the 2021-22 session. Thank you for your willingness to serve.
Thank you.
Third is the position of secretary for the 2021-2022 session of the Burlington Traffic Commission. Nominations from the floor. Do I have a nomination for secretary?
Let me ask, is there anybody who would like to express interest in being the secretary?
I'm willing to do it.
Okay.
Then I will nominate Michael Howard.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. Mr. Howard, do you accept the nomination?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Are there other nominations for the position of secretary? Hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion to elect Michael Howard as the secretary of the Burlington Traffic Commission for the 2021-2022 session. Do I have a motion?
I saw
My motion.
I think I heard Mr. Reed first, so there was a motion. And then do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Perry. So, all right. All in favor of the motion to elect Michael Howard as secretary for the 2021-22 session of the Burlington Traffic Commission, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It is so moved. So, Mr. Howard, thank you very much for your willingness to serve as secretary.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And Mr. Howard, will you be, I assume, taking the minutes this evening?
Yeah, happy to. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Okay, third item on the agenda is not a specific item, but is a review of Traffic Commission documents. So, Mr. Tennant, do you have the documents pertaining to the Traffic Commission role that you'd like to share with the commission?
I do, Chairman. 1 second. I'll pull those up.
And while you're doing that, V, we still have not heard anything specific from you. I just want to make sure, have we lost you or?
No, I'm still here.
Okay, very, very good.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Okay. I don't do too well with Zoom, so I apologize in advance.
That is perfectly fine. Well, we're here to help you. So no,
Okay.
no and glad you're part of the commission. So,
Yes, glad to be here.
serve. Yeah. All right, Mr. Tennant, I can see your screen and I assume others can as well.
Perfect. With the addition of new and returning traffic commission members, I wanted to take time to review the roles of the Traffic Commission. The Traffic Commission responds to requests made by citizens and staff for the removal of or installation of traffic control devices on city-maintained streets. So just kind of wanted to highlight that as our roles look at city-maintained streets throughout the city of Burlington. Here are some of the sign types: stop, yield, loading zones. And just to kind of show a few pictures. I mean, everybody pretty much knows what a stop sign, yield sign, speed limits, crosswalks with their markings. And then one that is not occurring every day is actually loading zones. And I wanted to share this screenshot here at Front and Worth in downtown Burlington. So. Anybody have any questions on that?
No.
I appreciate you pulling this together. I think it's a good overview of what the charter of the commission is. And, I'd ask any of the other commission members, I mean, do you have any questions about the role of the traffic commission or the types of matters that come before the commission?
No, I don't.
Not at this time, no.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Mr. Tennant. All right. Our fourth order of business this evening on the agenda is a request for a stop sign at Glen Kirk Drive and Beau Court. This is a citizen request. Mr. Tennant, could you please take us through the details?
Sir, let me square my sheet. There we go. All right.
All right. You can see it fine here.
So BDOT staff received a citizen request to install a stop sign at Glen Kirk Drive and Beau Court. Staff evaluated the request, which is consistent with stop signs installed throughout the neighborhood and the city. So it's pretty much a dead-end road. This area is in McIntosh on the lake. The consistency is, yes, there's stop signs on Bronner Bridge Parkway as well as Glen Kirk, and what's that? Louder Lane as well. So it's just one that we oversight and our staff caught it, and it's just consistency and helps with any confusion.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Tennant. This time, are there any questions from the commission for Mr. Tennant about this particular item?
No, I don't have any.
No.
Excellent. Yeah, I think this is, as you say, Mr. Tennant, it's consistent with policies. It makes sense to have a stop sign at a T intersection, albeit the street is very short and it should be obvious, but I think this is definitely the right thing to do, in my opinion. Okay.
And Scott, Mr. Chairman, do you mind if I elaborate a little bit more on the next steps for the new traffic commission members?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, please do. That would be great.
All right. So with your help on any items that get approved here, what'll go forth next is at next month's council meeting. It'll go through council at their work session and then hopefully on the consent agenda item for next month's council meeting. And then if it gets approved, then we would go out and install this sign.
Oh, okay.
So just kind of showing the overall role of the process of what's being presented here tonight and how it gets implemented full circle.
Yeah, and I think one thing to add as well, we have seen on rare occasion things come back from city council for reconsideration that were voted on. I don't think it happens very often, but I can recall one over the last several years that I've been on the commission that has come back from city council. So it does occasionally happen. So what we're actually voting on is, as Mr. Tennant said, to put these items on the consent agenda for city council, and city council has the final say or can send it back to us for further evaluation. So.
Certainly.
And the commission is certainly free to discuss this, and then when we're ready here, I'll go ahead and ask for public comments. And on something like this, I wouldn't expect many public comments, but some larger items, of course, there'll be other people that are involved and have differing opinions. So, is there any other further traffic commission discussion that we want to have before I call for public comments?
None for me.
No for me.
Excellent. So,
Straightforward.
yep. At this time, we will allow for public comments. Please state your name and address for the record. So do we have any public comments this evening?
So, Mr. Chairman, don't see any public citizens in the waiting room, as well as star 9 on a call.
Okay, I'm also seeing that in my chat window that there's none.
I also reached out with mailers as well. I did not receive any comments back based on those mailers.
Very good. And for the benefit of the traffic commission, the mailers that you're speaking of are the public notice that's provided to anyone in the area for any proposed change that we're planning to make, correct, Mr. Tennant?
That's correct.
Excellent. So you have provided those notices. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion to approve this request. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you. We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor to approve, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. All right, the fifth item on tonight's agenda is staff reports and updates, and there are several. The first being residential speed limits. And Mr. Tennant, any updates you have to provide us?
Do. For the May 27th meeting, we have reached out to other local agencies within the state to collect information on any other similar programs that results in lowering the speed limits. So based on similar traffic policies that Burlington has, most communities within the area are sticking to general statutes, as well as they already have a policy in place for lowering those speed limits. And one thing I wanted to do for showing our speed limits here, based on traffic common policy, based on these excerpts, we're residential in nature. It's a neighborhood. Again, so we start with what the policy is, the enforcement, which is, it's residential in nature. Then we look at, doing an extensive speed limit reduction on a street to see if it helps. And all of that is just tied into looking at if it's 25 miles per hour or not, would meet that criteria. As well as, again, just needs to be residential in nature for the criteria. And with that, the policy is prescriptive and allows both staff and the public to address collaboratively and submit to the Traffic Commission for additional review and evaluation. The city attorney's office did confirm that the traffic calming policy that we have here in Burlington is consistent with the North Carolina General Statute. Burlington DOT met with police and fire and both agreed that using the traffic calming policy as the mechanism to lower the speed limit. And I do have information that was provided by other agencies, Apex, Huntersville, Salisbury, all use the citywide speed limit philosophy, which they're currently 35 miles per hour. And then Asheville is similar to Burlington, where they do have a traffic calming policy in place that would allow them to evaluate based on citizen request if lowering the speed limit through engineering warrants and judgment would be needed.
And I assume your list goes on here, it looks like. So did you find any cities that had a, so I guess I'm seeing that column D, you have no for everything, that there's a reduced speed limit, but I was noticing, and I was just trying to read as you were going through here, there are certain cities that like Huntersville there, for example, says we do have an ordinance that limits non-highway streets to 25 miles per hour. And I thought I saw that in Cary. So they have not lowered the speed limit generally to 25 miles an hour within the city. Am I reading those ones correctly?
So yes, they have lowered it to 25 miles per hour, but it was not a blanket approach. So it's using the same mechanisms that we have. So it's going off of policy.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, can we catch the board up? I know we have probably 4 new members, and they're probably not aware of what we're talking about.
Absolutely. I was actually just thinking that. So thank you, Mr. Perry. So especially for the new members, what Mr. Tennant is updating on is a request that was made several months back. It was myself, and I certainly don't want to speak for Mr. Page, but I know he and I have spoken separately and is also interested in exploring this as well. We currently the statutory speed limit, the default speed limit in the city of Burlington is 35 miles per hour, unless it's otherwise posted. So that means residential streets that don't have a speed limit sign, the speed limit is 35 miles per hour. There's some research out there that indicates, of course, the faster a vehicle is traveling, if it strikes a pedestrian or a bicyclist, the higher the probability that of severe injury or death, which is probably obvious. So what I asked was, is it possible to lower the speed limit, the statutory speed limit in the city of Burlington, to default to 25 miles an hour? So all those residential streets and such, where oftentimes there are not sidewalks, and enforce everything by default as 25 miles an hour. And if something should be 35, of course, it would have to be signed, and primarily from a safety mechanism. So Mr. Tennant went off and did some research for the commission, and this is part of his research that he's bringing back from what he found out doing a survey, in this case, of other cities and how they handle their internal speed limits on their city maintained streets. And also sort of what the current policies are to remind us all of changing the speed limit from 35 to 25, or 35 to anything else for that matter, within the city of Burlington. And so that's what's being presented. I would certainly welcome, as we're going through this, any comments or thoughts on the commission, whether you agree or disagree with the general idea of what's being discussed here in a blanket lowering of the speed limit. But that is what is being discussed here. So does anyone have any questions on where this is, especially if you're coming into it brand new? And I apologize for not stating that all up front before having Mr. Tennant go through this.
Oh, you're fine. If you don't mind me speaking, I appreciate the clarification on what we're looking at here. It does look as though the town of Apex, this seems like something we might need to run by the city attorney if there's a state law saying that we cannot supersede it from 35 to 25. And that, if I'm reading correctly, and pardon me, because these glasses are barely working on the size computer I have here. But it appears that from Apex, they're saying, oh, thank you, that there's a state law setting the speed limit at 35, setting the citywide speed limits at 35, that we would have to determine if we can go any lower. Is that correct?
That's correct. And Reed, can
Am I reading?
You're correct. Can I answer
Okay.
that question for you?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Okay. So the city attorney's office did confirm that the traffic calming policy is consistent with the North Carolina general statute. So with that being said, we did run this by David Huffman, who is our city attorney, because of this Apex question. And that was kind of the feedback that we got is, is that truly legal for the general statute? And so just doing a blanket wide study, as far as the change. And one other thing I just wanted to share with you from our code of ordinances. Enlarge this.
Yeah.
So it shall be unlawful to operate a vehicle in excess of the following speeds. So 20 miles per hour in any business district. To give you an example, here in the city, right there off of Front Street where Meredith Webb is, that section of roadway is 20 miles per hour, as well as your downtown central business district. And then we have 35 miles per hour within the city limits unless otherwise posted. And I just highlighted the date because it was just recently looked at back as early as August 21st of 2018. Is something I noticed for our Muni code.
Yeah, so I'm curious to go off of Mr. Sarton's question there. I mean, is it legal? Is it possible that the Traffic Commission, of course, in cooperation with the City Council, could change B2 from 35 to 25?
From the research that I've seen, it looks like it's no. I believe Durham also had a bill to the House as far as looking to lower theirs and have not had any success. So I'm seeing that a lot of it is stopping right now to where.
Yeah, and I'm certainly not an attorney, which is why I'm asking the question of what's even possible. I mean, have you asked our city attorney if section B2 could be changed from 35 to 25 if the city council has the authority to do that?
We did not get into that, no.
Would you mind asking that question? I'm curious to know the answer, just to understand what the art of the possible is. And again, fully recognize all of where you reached out to the various cities, and I would agree it implies that, but I'd be interested to know if there's anything specific to Burlington that allows or would not allow that. Presumably Burlington falls under the exact same rules as Durham and other cities as well, but I just don't know if there's any nuances to that. So I'm personally curious for clarification.
So can city council change citywide speed limit?
Yeah, essentially, is it exactly what you have up is, section 36-119B2. That one word there, could 35 be changed to 25 miles per hour?
All right.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I would be just generally curious. I mean, since this is something that has been brought up kind of with safety, especially with increased pedestrian traffic in the city, and sidewalks are being built. I think which is great. I think there's a lot of bicycle facilities being built, which I think is great. But certainly slower speed limits with that. If there was an accident on those streets where there isn't a sidewalk or a good bicycle facility, are there any general thoughts from the commission on speed limits in the city? I mean, is the commission generally comfortable with the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit blanket, especially in residential areas, or would you be more comfortable with the 25-mile-per-hour speed limit? I'm just curious the overall consensus and thoughts of the board. Certainly, everyone's opinion is important and meaningful.
I'll go ahead and start on that if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
I've had a lot more time to digest it than everybody else. Without any more information, I would be probably against it for a couple reasons. The main reason being, I don't want to confuse our citizens. Everywhere that I've ever been has always been 35 unless otherwise posted. And I just feel like us changing it, we would be the exception to everybody else. Also, although we know this isn't the case, it's going to look like a revenue generating tool that the police department is responsible for enforcing. And I don't think that's fair to the police department either. So those are just a couple of my thoughts on changing it to 25. And I think there's a mechanism. If we do have an issue, there's a mechanism on changing it, and that's just changing each street individually. It's a little more cumbersome, but we do have a mechanism if we think 35 is too fast.
Yeah, that's excellent perspective. I appreciate that. So,
Yeah, I would think that the state is going to say that ultimately this comes superseding the state law, and I don't think we would wind up being able to get away with that. Though certainly, perspective coming from the town lawyer is going to make more sense. Also, I would also think that rather than just having a lower speed limit put in around the town, that a physical deterrent to it would be more effective with targeting certain neighborhoods and streets with speed bumps.
oh, excellent perspective. Yeah, thank you. Any other members have thoughts that they'd like to share?
I just wonder what it would cost, right? If we needed to, update citywide the speed limit signs from 35 to 25, what that would look like at this point. And then also, I feel like there's a couple other things that I've seen recently around. I live kind of in the Grand Oaks area, and I noticed recently they've installed a lot of those. It's where you're riding down, it'll tell you how fast you're going.
Yeah.
I think those are a big deterrent for people, because I think sometimes people don't realize how fast they're going. Really, one of the problems.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you for those comments. Good perspective. Did I hear someone else try to make a comment? Yeah, good. No, this is excellent. These types of discussion topics. I mean, please, come with your perspectives. I mean, that's how we come to a consensus. And Mr. Tennant, thank you very much for looking in and researching this. And I'm sure we'll have more discussions on this. I mean, speed limits are always probably one of the hottest topics that come up in the Traffic Commission, as you might imagine, for the newer members. And we've talked about them quite often over the years. So I'm sure there will be more discussion. So thank you, Mr. Tennant. If there's no further discussion on this, I'm happy to move to the sixth item on our agenda, which is commission comments and other items. So, Mr. Tennant, do you have any other items or any other topics that you would like to bring up to the commission?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, yeah, floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Let me share my screen here. One second.
Okay, I can see your screen.
Oh,
But I think it's just your desktop.
sorry, stop. Give my. All right, do you see the Google Earth image?
I do see the Google Earth, yes.
Perfect. All right, wanted to give an update on Mebane Street and Webb Avenue. Just to give a background, this is an item that was brought up by Traffic Commission based on traffic fatality that was out there, as well as some near misses, as well as having pedestrian volumes at the Plasma Center. And so trying to make this actual safer for the community, we're looking at putting crosswalks as well as lighting, upgrading lighting standards, but working with NCDOT. So to give an update on this, BDOT met with NCDOT division engineer who agrees that these types of projects are low-hanging fruit to provide safety through minimal infrastructure upgrades to all modes of public. There's a budget shortfall right now with NCDOT, but we are on their prioritization list for trying to get this approved and implemented. We've been working with Duke Energy as far as lighting standards that they're requesting, and looking to get an updated design and try to get on NCDOT's radar to get this implemented, hopefully with a goal of June 30th.
Oh, that's a good update, and I know for the other commission members, this is something that I believe Mr. Page has been very passionate about. So that's I think he will enjoy hearing this. I think that's good news.
I'm glad you said that, Mr. Chairman. I was going to say I hate that Nathan is not here to hear that, because he has been a champion for this cause. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. And I am fully supportive of this. I think given the incident that did happen there, and given just this particular intersection and what's around it, I think it is absolutely the right thing to do. So yeah, Mr. Tennant, thank you very much for helping to champion this along.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, that's all the updates I had for tonight.
Very good. Yeah, thank you for that. I'd ask, does any commission member have any other item or comment that they would like to bring forward before we adjourn the meeting?
I don't have anything traffic related, but I do want to welcome our new members, and I appreciate you being here.
Yes, absolutely. I second that. Great team. Thank you very much for your willingness to serve, and look forward to working with you all as we get underway. So thank you very much for your commitment. And Mr. Perry and Mr. Howard, thank you for your willingness to serve in officer roles on the Traffic Commission. Okay, one last call for any comments or questions from the commission. Okay, with that, one more time, again, I would like to thank all of you for your willingness to serve and your service. I look forward to working with you on the Traffic Commission this year. And thank you very much for all the time that you spent today and all the time that you will spend over your term. So thank you very much. Commissions like these only work because of the people, and I think it's extremely important, a good cause to help out citizens and the community overall. So thank you very much for your willingness to serve. At this time, we will need a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. So do I have a motion to adjourn our meeting?
I will make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Sarton. I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor of adjournment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. Unanimous to adjourn. So this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.